So there's the concept.
You know,
now if somebody asks them about imperialism in some other place, they will know that concept and apply it.
No, I hear you. Now, we have a class where we were talking about creative behaviors. And we were talking about behaviors that were internally or externally caused, right? So I was telling the class that, you know, an internal behavior is that you went out the night before and you didn't get enough sleep and you woke up late and you got to work late. That's an internally caused behavior. You caused that on yourself, right? By you hanging out, you know, you got up late, you were tired, you got up late and you came to work late. However, if you drive to work and you left home early and while driving to work you get into a traffic jam and the traffic jam caused you to be late for work, that's an externally caused behavior.
Okay.
Right? So I use that as an example in class. Now I gave a question and I gave a essay question on creative behaviors. Right?
Creative behaviors?
Yeah, creative behaviors that are internally or externally caused. And the one kid regurgitate exactly what I told him in class. Right? So it makes sense. You didn't have to know the book concept, but what I told him was the general idea of what the concept was. And that's what I tell the kids. I said, if you could explain to me what the concept is supposed to be in your own words, right? Rather than giving me whatever the book, exactly what the book says. And there was something else he had to do as well, but he got 10 points. He got 10 points for that.
But did he use your example or did he come up with his own example?
No, he used my example. Mean to say that he remembered, he was paying attention.
Do you necessarily want them to parrot what you have to say?
If I give you an essay question.
No, but the real thinking is if they had come up with their own example.
Well, that's fine too. But at least he remembered what we discussed in class and he used it. So mean to say that he was paying attention. He could have used something on his own, but I mean to say that's a kid I know that's paying attention in class.
All right, let me finish this article because I have something to say about that. Opt-out students are encouraged to attend testing days. Bring a book to read quietly while testing takes place in the classroom. We cannot provide a separate space for non-testing students due to lack of personnel and space, said Assistant Superintendent of Curriculum and Instruction Susan Grierson. She said the state has left the decision of where to place non-testing students up to individual school districts. We have vetted all that and checked it out. Meanwhile, the Board of Education decided to table a vote on an official board policy regarding opting out of the park exams. That's how you deal with that. Our children are being set up to fail, said Kathy Romley, who represents the group South Orange Maplewood Parents for Quality Education. She said testing students should be in a separate room and should be provided with alternate educational activities. Romley urged the board to pass the official policy, which can be found here. Oh, wow. I'm getting bad reception today. Yeah, finish it out.
Let me read it.
I stopped it. She cited a number of issues with Park, including...
Well, there's a letter. Dear parents and guardian, as you may know, this year New Jersey has mandated a new assessment for all public school districts to administer to students called the Partnership for Assessment of Readiness for College and Career, better known as PARC. The PARC will be administered in place of the NJAX or English Language Arts, Math in grades 3 through 11. If FAQ is attached providing additional information about PARC and South Orange Maplewood School District preparation to administer this state-mandated assessment. And it goes on, our goal is to administer testing is stress-free, smooth, and orderly. The 2015 PARC will have no academic consequences for students. It will be used as baseline data only and will not be used for academic placement. Mm-hmm. Testing will take place in March. The testing dates on the attached calendar. There will be a second round testing of PARC in May. Right. South Orange Maplewood recognized some families of concern about your children participating in PARC testing and we have received some questions about what happens should a family refuse to allow their children to be tested. We respect personal parental concerns about this assessment, while at the same time we are adhering to state regulations. This year, the state has left it up to local school districts to decide how to handle this situation in which parents choose to have their children refuse to take the standardized assessment. If you are planning to refuse to allow your son or daughter to take the test, please note the following. There will be no negative consequences or disciplinary action for any student who is not taking the assessment. Please send an email or a letter to the building principal as soon as possible indicating that you are refusing to have your child take the park test. Please do not keep your child home from school. You are required to follow all attendance rules and regulations. If you choose not to have your child take the state test, one letter will suffice for a refusal of the performance-based assessment in March, included makeup testing. Students must be on time for school regardless of whether or not they are participating in the testing. We ask you to have non-test taking students bring a book to keep them occupied during the hours of the testing. They remain in the classroom with other students who are being tested.
Now here we've got, in continuation of that article, it says parent and former South Orange Middle School librarian Alyssa Malaspina, who was going to run for the board, said that the park manual specified that children cannot have recreational books in a testing environment or their tests would be considered invalid. This procedure goes against the manual, she said. Does this mean all tests will be invalid? By placing children in an area where they have to sit quietly while others are taking a test, the district is causing students undue stress, something Grierson has repeatedly said the district is trying to avoid and providing potential distraction to students taking the tests. Malaspina contended. Parent and Columbia High School teacher T.J. Whitaker criticized the district's initial decision to tell parents they were not allowed to refuse testing for their children. Quote, in a democracy, an informed citizenry is paramount, he said, adding that not informing parents of their rights was borderline criminal. And the Anselm just read, board member Stephanie Lawson Muhammad thanked Grierson for the administration's quick action and responsiveness to the community. Grierson said administrators and teachers had done an incredible job under challenging circumstances to ensure the district is ready to administer the test. Board member Donna Smith said the district's park information sessions were very helpful and eased many parents' minds about the test. BOE member Madhu Pai asked if non-testing students would be sitting next to testing students. Grierson said they could not, or they could sit on the side or toward the back. We don't anticipate there will be a large disruption for anyone. I think this is punitive in nature, said board member Joanna Wright. I think we are punishing parents who decided to opt their children out. We're also punishing parents of children who are taking the test because they're going to be a distraction to other children. What we're doing here is wrong. It's wrong for everyone concerned. She expressed criticism that the district couldn't hire substitutes to supervise non-testing students and couldn't find any additional space in the school for them. Wright said the board should review the park manual regarding accommodations for non-testing students. We make up our own rules all the time, she said. Board President Wayne Eastman asked Grierson to clarify the distinction between non-testing students and those who are refusing. Grierson said, according to the park program coordinator, non-tested students are considered distinct from parent refusals, and the latter are allowed to stay in the testing room. Student Representative Maggie Kurtzberg said, I think this might be one of those situations where we're hyping things up a bit. She noted that while students, including herself, might dislike standardized tests, they do serve a purpose of pointing out areas for improvement. I hear from students a lot who are worried about the park because older people than them are worried and their teachers are worried. She asked teachers and parents to attempt to create a more relaxed approach to the test. Board member Maureen Jones agreed, said that adults should reassure students that while there would be kinks, they would support students to ensure that testing goes smoothly. Jeff Bennett, another member of the board, said that while he would prefer that students refusing the test be placed in a separate room, the small number of students opting out thus far did not seem to justify the hiring the extra staff. Eastman pointed out that neighboring districts had taken different approaches for their opt-out students. For instance, Montclair had passed an official board policy, while Milburn chose only to institute procedures for the district to follow. While acknowledging that the park's future was uncertain, standardized testing is not going away, and to change the policy as a reaction to the discomfort of the change was not the solution, said Lawson Muhammad. Board member Elizabeth Baker agreed and added that the board should look closely at the bills the State Assembly and Senate were currently considering, which would delay using park for student and teacher evaluation. This policy is being manipulated for a bigger opt-out movement that we shouldn't encourage, said Beth Daughtry. She said creating a board policy would make it look as though the district is taking a stand against standardized testing and also might encourage parents to opt out their students. These are valid conversations, she said, but are not what the policy is about. The district will not be using any of the data for academic placement, and there are other options for students to graduate. Smith disagreed with Daughtry that parents would misrepresent the policy as a tacit stand against standardized testing. Daughtry continued by citing an op-ed written by Milburn Superintendent James Crisfield, where he noted the slippery slope. Pye said it was her concern to use the park for teacher accountability, but she was equally concerned about a bill that would allow 3 years to pass before park could be used for teacher evaluations. Bennett said he acknowledged this problem, and I've read enough of this article. At least a standardized test can't hold a grudge and can't have dogmatic beliefs about what good teaching looks like, said Bennett. That's the end of the article. Which is a long article, so it seems like the board members themselves all have different ideas about how and the significance and purpose of the test itself, which indeed they should, because everyone can't think the same way. Yeah?
I don't even want to. I don't want to waste my time with that.
Well, I mean, it's kind of goofy to have these kids in the same room as the other kids.
You know, why don't people think logically?
Because I think that when this happened, no one was considering that you would have this movement
but
to
Margie,
opt out.
Yeah, but Margie, let's think about this. Time check. The time is approximately 8:56 p.m.
Yes.
We're going to go for a short break, and we'll be right back.
The Strollers present Fuddy Mears, a dark, absurdist farce about all that is imperfect and flawed in the human condition. Come see it at the Bergdorf Center for the Performing Arts on 10 Durand Road in Maplewood. Friday and Saturday performances are on March 6th, 7th, 13th, and 14th at 8 p.m., with a Sunday matinee on March 8th at 2 p.m. Visit thestrollers.org for tickets and details. Don't stay at home. Come play with the Strollers.
Go ahead and advertise on the South Orange Maplewood online radio experience. You can reach us at 347-674-1680. That's 347-674-1680. An operator is standing by to assist you.
Do you want your kid to run faster with better running form and conditioning for his or her sport? Then Running Development Academy is the place for him or her. Our training packages fix their form and make them run faster. How about training to run a marathon or just run faster in your respective event? Maybe you just want to learn to run properly and lose weight in the process. Our trainers, a former 800 meters track Olympian and an 8 times world record holder in Masters Track and Field, will get you there. Don't delay. Sign up today at runningdevelopmentacademy.com or contact us at 973-868-1444. That's 973-868-1444 to learn more.
Want to learn piano for kids? Then I recommend Wendy Goldstein School of Piano. Wendy Goldstein has been offering piano lessons since 1993 and teaches piano in a very natural way. An alumni of Manhattan School of Music, Wendy creates customized lesson plans for each student and helps bring music alive. Wendy provides you a convenient location, the best value, and the most fun way to learn piano. Want to learn piano for kids? Then I recommend Wendy Goldstein School of Piano. Wendy Goldstein has been offering piano lessons since 1993